And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings in Meridian. Thank you for tuning in to this, the two best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi, West Alabama. It is Fun Friday, the 19th of July. So glad to have you here. And, of course, this is the day where we will talk about, well, turn out the lights. The party is over, at least the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. And want to hear your thoughts about what happened last night. Love to hear from you. I'm Roger B. Say hi to the guy to my left, who is Mr. Rob Atkinson.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Mr. Hulk Hogan.
Donald Trump has got to make America great again. What you gonna do?
There you go. There you go. You saw the Hulkster.
Man, I was in a time warp last night. You have no idea. Growing up, that was my guy, man.
Well, now see,
the Hulkster, man.
There you go.
I was like, I'm done. I can go to bed now. The Hulk has spoken.
It probably turns out we all should have gone to bed if we wanted to get any sleep last night.
Ronnie.
So
yeah, but yeah, Hulk Hogan. I know a lot of people are probably waking up this morning. Oh, that was a little too much. That was over the top. But it was I think the last night was kind of a party night. You know, we had a lot of serious moments over the last 3 nights of the RNC. But last night I think was kind of a, we're just going to kind of cut loose and have a party. You know, everybody's like, well, Kid Rock was too loud. That's just too much. Well, that's everybody's got their opinion. But I think it was more of a party. And those are people that are closely aligned to President Trump, and they're friends of his too. So, and
Kid Rock doesn't treat equipment very well. He just dropped the mic on the floor. I don't understand.
Might drop, yeah.
Let's
and you know who I feel sorry for, which he did I think everybody did a great job last night. I feel bad for Franklin Graham being stuck in the middle of Hulk Hogan, Kid Rock, and Dana White.
We're going to bring God into this now.
Yeah. Well, that's what Franklin Graham said. He's like, of all things, I got to follow the Hulk?
I got to follow the Hulk? Anyway, it's all right. Our God's a big God. Okay.
That's right.
Powerful God. We've got a caller at our number here at 601-485-9191. That is the talk line. We want to hear from all of you out there. Give us a call, 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How you doing today?
Well, I think Franklin fit right in. He's fighting for the kingdom.
There you go. They're all fighters last night.
Fight. There you go.
Well, what do you think about Bob?
I do.
Well, I ain't crazy about him.
Hey, as long as he's on the right side, he can do what he wants.
Well, I'm glad he's on the right side, that's for sure. But that was a little over the top for me.
Well, that's trying to hit the younger part of the Republican Party too. So.
Yeah, I know.
That's all part of that big tent.
That's right. The big tent.
All of them.
Yep.
Got to appeal to all of them.
That's right.
What part of the night?
What color are your computer screens this morning, guys?
Normal.
We're normal, thank goodness.
Oh, man.
And thank goodness I'm not flying anywhere.
Yeah, no, the flights are at a halt.
I thought the same thing, Roger. And this, they grounded flights, but what about those that were in the air when it took place?
Oof.
That's a little bit interesting as well. I'm not sure how that was all managed, but
because didn't that all start? They said that they were doing the software update, and it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning when that happened. So
you may be able to tell a plane not to land, but you can't tell a plane to stay fueled.
That's true. That's true.
You got that far.
You darn right.
You can't make it stay fueled.
You're talking about an update that affected millions and millions of people worldwide?
Yep.
I mean, is that an excuse, or is that what actually happened? I hate to be a conspiracy theorist or whatever you call them, but really, it is scary what's going on with cell service, etc. too.
How is your cell service out there in Chunky?
It's bad. I don't get a very good signal.
Same at our place.
And then I was at the point not long ago where I've got the VOI home phone that I'm on right now that AT&T customers couldn't call me.
Wow.
That's interesting.
This was just a couple of weeks ago or less than 2 weeks ago. but it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Our communication, and we're talking about effect on financial institutions.
Yep.
Airlines, hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
emergency service, all of those and more were affected by this.
Yeah, I'm sure somewhere on the ticket counter of the airline you saw one older senior member go back in the back and pull out one of them credit card machines that you kind of used to swing the handle over. And
right.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know how to do this. Let me show you youngsters how we do credit
That's
cards.
right.
Well, they say that maybe the New York police are using telephones and radios instead of their computers today. So anyway,
Does this happen to be now conspiracy thinking? Of course, is this some sort of a shot across the bow coming right on the heels of the final day of the RNC?
That's an interesting thought, Roger. That's an interesting thought.
And
what bothers me is, number one, those people coming across the border in the south of our country.
mm-hmm.
What could they do to our communication network in this country?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a tremendous effect it would have on things. And I'm going to say this with the kindest way I know. Biden needs to leave the White House now. Now, today.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the show. It's like, he's expected to step aside as the candidate this weekend, but as far as the good of the country goes, should he go ahead and just go to the House, period, end of paragraph? We were talking about that before the show today.
Well, would not one logically mean the other? I mean, as far as what if he's a candidate who's not fit to run
to serve his term out, I guess.
Then they're saying the same thing. He's not fit to serve his term.
Yeah,
absolutely. But we're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, him or Kamala. I mean, so there's no easy way out of the situation, but he is in no shape to be running this country.
Well, it's interesting going ahead here for the Democrats. Their convention will be middle part of August I believe, 19th. In Chicago.
Right.
And between now and then, there's talks of just inserting Kamala Harris as the new presidential candidate, and of course who would her running mate be. But then they're talking about maybe an open, like a little mini type primary, doing this and doing that, and I'm like, the time is running pretty thin here. And also the money part of it. We talked about this before. If Kamala is not the candidate, all of that money that was raised, you basically have to hit the reset button and start over, which I don't think they would have any problems raising money because then the checkbooks from the elite out in Hollywood and other places would open right back up and the faucet would be running at full blast. But the Trump campaign, don't sell them short. As far as dollars go, they're doing pretty darn well right now.
Well, here's the thing. If the Democratic Party puts her in that position automatically, they're not going through a democratic process.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a problem. You got the money, you got the delegates. I don't see how they could automatically give her those delegates.
Yeah,
it's a sticky situation.
Because legally, by the federal election, not the federal election laws, but as far as the Democratic National Committee would go, Biden has to be the one that releases those delegates to Kamala, if that's what ends up happening. Because right now the ball is all this report of this Democrat, wants him out, this, and that. It ultimately is down to Biden and what he wants to do. I mean, he could go.
So he can automatically give her that without any process.
Well, he's got to release the delegates. Now, as far as what happens on the back end of that, I'm not sure what the checkmate scenario would be, but it's really up to Biden. Could be like, you know what, he could go scorched earth and said, you know what, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
but then again, at this point, when you don't have Obama, Schumer, Pelosi, all the big wigs are not going with you, that's not good. That basically, if you go that route, that is guaranteed defeat, I think.
Well, I think he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he
Sure.
Basically.
To your point, Jimmy, and I want to say this, I know your sentiment about he should leave the White House now, but these same people have brought this upon themselves. They've propped him up for these 3 years and some change.
They have.
And I think they deserve to just continue to prop him up and to the election, and then that will be, it'll be a reset for them, and they'll have a nice, at least to the midterms, decide what strategy they want to take going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you make a good point there, Roger. I tell you what, they have covered up for him and covered up for him, and that's to the point where they can't cover up for him.
Nobody in that party that's bailing is surprised about what his condition is.
Well, and plus two, we got to remember this. I think the reason for the panic, it's not just the presidential side of things; it's the down ballot races, because you're getting a lot of leakage down to the congressional races and the Senate races, and some of these are so razor thin right now. The Arizona race is very razor thin. Montana, there's a lot of big races around the country, and they know that, the presidential race has been a big problem for the last several months as far as Biden is concerned. But when you start leaking down to those two chambers, if you lose all three, I mean, their heads will explode. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, it will, but my mind goes back to when the Republicans had all three chambers.
Exactly.
All three segments of the government.
I kind of use it as a sport.
If they blow it again like they did then, I'm going to find me a third party. I'm going to tell you right now.
Well, the biggest.
I have been mad since that happened, and I continue to be.
I stand beside you. I stand beside you with that anger, but I can tell you right now, this is a different environment now, because you had everybody trying to push the Trump name at arm's length and try to stay away from associating themselves with Trump. It's a lot easier now to be able to warm up to the Republican candidate.
Yeah, because that convention, I think, was a real it was a real eye-opener for a lot of folks. Like, this is a different party here in 2024. Much different party.
But I agree with you, and I go back to conversations I had with people. You think Trump should run again in 2024? I said, I think he should. I think he should force the Republican elite to deal with him.
Yep.
I sense an anger that's been subdued for a while now.
That might have been the way I said it then, but I made no bones about it based on how he was.
Let me tell you something, Jimmy. This is what I think.
The way he was treated by the Republican elite, I said, they deserve to have to deal with him.
Sure. Amen. Let's take up a collection.
Hey, all right. Closing song. Here we go. Shall we gather at the river?
And Franklin Graham will give the prayer. There we go.
What we're going to do with beer? Throw it in the river. What we're going to do with whiskey? Throw it in the river. What we're going to do with wine? Throw it in the river. Let's sing our closing hymn. Shall
we gather at the river?
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See, that's why Fun Friday is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Fun Friday. Talking about the speech, though, a couple of things that I said. I don't know if I said it here on the air, but I remember in discussions I said it. So I can't remember. I've got Biden's disease.
Sliding to Biden.
I'm sliding to Biden. No. But I did say there needs to be in this speech a moment of silence for the fallen firefighter.
He did do that.
And that happened, and I said, oh, that's excellent. That's excellent.
It was a special moment. They had a couple of firefighters had come out before the speech started, and they had rolled the uniform of the firefighter out there. And I thought that was a real special moment that Trump recognized him and went over and kissed the back of his helmet.
And I said I said one thing he needs to say when he starts talking about the border and what he will day one. I like his 3 day ones. But I said he needs to talk about deportation. And there it came. I said, okay, there you go. Mornings in Meridian. Let's take a phone call. Welcome to our program. How are you?
Good morning, y'all. You got to be pretty. You got to get up pretty early to beat old Jimmy Slade to the phone.
The dogs must have started barking earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you right now, I watched it from stem to stern last night, and or at least when he came on, and I've never been prouder to. I think my resolve to support that man is right on. And the big difference I see between Captain America and Trump is, y'all notice it's always about, with Trump, it's always about the people, the other people. He always sings the praises of people that got him into that position.
I thought last night one of the moments to me where he was talking about the regular folks. Here we go, Bill O'Reilly, regular folks. Was when he mentioned he was having dinner in Las Vegas and a waitress that was waiting on him said, tips are doing this to me. The taxes are doing this to me. And he said, you know what? He said, we're going to get rid of these taxes on tips. But that's him talking to a regular individual, a regular everyday working American who is getting hit in the teeth by taxes on money they have earned as a service industry employee. That was something so simple, but you're right. He listens to the everyday working American. I think that's why this movement is growing of people that may have not been on board.
Well, it gives me a great idea. It gives me a great idea. I'm just going to tell the people upstairs that write our paychecks, say, don't pay me away, just pay me in tips.
Pay you in tips, yeah.
Just tip me for doing this.
Tip me for doing this.
Tax free.
I think he's going to win hands down. But y'all, it's going to come down to these ballot stuffing and ballot harvesting and early voting and motor voter and all this other crap that is going to tell the tape.
The only thing that gives me, I feel good about the candidate. I feel good where they are right now as far as the RNC. The momentum. Momentum can be lost in just a matter of weeks, and I feel like he's got it going on. But what makes me feel the most good about a possible victory is the fact that there are wealthy people willing to pony up and keep an eye on these polls and make sure the election is as genuine as possible.
Yeah, people don't realize that $45 million a month from Elon Musk and a couple of these other billionaires to focus on what you just mentioned, ballot harvesting and early voting, to embrace that from the Republican side of things, that changes the game a good bit.
We always said if they're going to make the rules of the game, then we've got to play by those rules.
And that's what the Republicans are doing.
There you go.
What was it somebody said? It says changing these voting laws doesn't make it easier for the Democrats to win. It makes it harder for them to cheat. And trust me, if they can cheat and win, they will. Yeah. They have no morals.
And
I don't think they do.
Again, yeah. Here you're seeing the result of a party that has not been able to run on their policies. They've only been able to run on, we are not that guy.
Sure.
That's all they've been able to run on. We're not that guy. And now they have a weak candidate, and that guy is gaining momentum like never before, and the party's coming together like never before around him, and they don't have anything. They don't have anything. They can't sit there and say, look how much better our policy is going to be, as opposed to what the Republicans have laid out.
Sure.
Anyway,
good call. Thank you for being out there, sir.
I'm listening.
Are the dogs
looking at me like, do we get to walk today or what?
Yeah.
Start raining before you walk us or what?
Yeah. Would you get off the radio phone and just take us for a walk, please?
Take us for a walk. Come on.
And wait, don't call in. I can when I come back in the yard.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I've got a radio outside, and I heard that radio playing. I said, I know who that is.
There it is.
Hi, you.
There you go.
And it didn't even have to be on high volume. No, I know who that is.
I know who that is.
I know who that is.
But on a lighter note, I just wonder if the Democrats are going to have as many good-looking women as the Republicans did.
Never have.
Well, it was good to see Melania last night, too.
Stained glass window. They had.
Never have.
Yeah, they never have. But thank goodness the good-looking girls are Republicans, at least the majority of them, I hope.
The only good-looking girls they've had have gone through transitions. They're now guys.
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. That was, boy, thank you for calling.
My name's Jill.
You led me down. You led me down the alley, and I shouldn't have followed you.
Big Mike.
right, y'all. I'm listening. I know y'all are coming up on the break, so I'll let you go.
Hey, thanks for listening. And thanks for calling. And get those dogs walked. I tell you what. Lefty checking in with us this morning. This program brought to you by Queen City Truck Stop, because at Magnolia Restaurant, you can get a meal, and it's hot, and it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Folks, say it with me. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Fish!
Yes, sir. Fried catfish fillets are on the menu. It's a Fish Friday down at the Magnolia Restaurant, and they're going to start serving up those catfish plates at around 10:30 today. And, of course, today they've also got hamburger steak with onion and gravy. It's so good. Fried chicken. And they've also got a veggie plate you can try. And, of course, the Biggie Burger, one of my personal favorites. And, of course, breakfast is being served right now. You can drop by there, get you a hot breakfast there off of exit 150. And if you want to get it to go, order 601-482-0259. The coffee's always hot. The service is unbelievable. Love that staff down there at the Magnolia Restaurant, Queen City Truck Stop. Go by and see him today on a Fish Friday.
And remember, banana pudding is always a vegetable.
Amen.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. Former President Donald Trump getting a rock star's welcome at the RNC last night with a little hype up from Hulk Hogan.
Enough was enough, and I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
The former president recounting the assassination attempt that nearly took his life.
I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard.
Mr. Trump and J.D. Vance will rally this weekend in Michigan, and a Russian court has sentenced Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich to 16 years in prison. He is accused of being a spy. The U.S. government declared him wrongfully detained, and Microsoft says the underlying cause of today's global cyber outage has been fixed for some services. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Stellantis is telling owners of more than 24,000 Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid minivans to park them outdoors, away from buildings, and to stop charging them due to the possibility of battery fires. Some of the vehicles are being recalled for a second time, but all can still be driven. Stellantis said its investigation is ongoing, but the company has linked the problem to a rare abnormality in individual battery cells. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg visited the Port of Long Beach to break ground on a $1.5 billion rail yard expansion project that will more than triple the volume of rail cargo the dock can handle annually. Dubbed America's Green Gateway, the project will streamline rail operations to reduce the environmental impact, traffic congestion, and air pollution caused by cargo trucks. Futures are mixed. Thursday, the Dow Industrials lost 533. The Nasdaq lost 125. That's Your Money Now.
Trustmark checking fits you to a
T.
Use the My Trustmark app to bank anywhere from your
truck to a tent.
Make mobile payments at retailers from
Tampa to Tacoma.
And with new Plus checking, you'll even get discounts on trips.
Trip? Hey, you stole my line.
You need Plus checking. It has identity theft protection, too. Trustmark. People you trust. Advice that works. Member FDIC.
Freeman Tractor in Collinsville is excited to announce that mower season savings is still underway on all Skag zero turns, walk behinds, and stand-on mowers. Skag mowers are known for being simply the best in the lawn equipment industry. Skag has the mowing machine to meet your needs with a variety of models to choose from for whatever property size you might have. 0% financing is available for approved applicants. Stop by Freeman Tractor at 11616 Highway 494 and see coleslaw and buttermilk today.
We're flying again, and that feels so good, especially with the short drive to Meridian Regional Airport, the insanely cheap parking, and the staff that treats us like friends, because we are. Plus, we're putting our dollars into the local economy. Price your ticket from Meridian first. With United's connection to Houston and around the world, come on, let's have fun again. Fly Meridian. Fly home. Fly United.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night.
I'ma buy you a drink.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Driving home, let Joe Pags ride shotgun. Weekdays at 5 on Meridian's News Talk 102.1 WALT.
When you wake up in the morning and the light has hurt your head, the first thing you do when you get up out of bed is hit that streets a running and try to beat the masses. Go get yourself some cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I spied a little thing and I followed her all night in a funky fine Levi's and her sweater's kinda tight. She had a West Coast strut that was sweet as molasses. But what really knocked me out was the cheap sunglasses.
It was those sunglasses. Forget everything else. You know, they don't have to say, I don't know, what are on this fancy sunglasses? Oakley's or... Yeah.
Cheap sunglasses or
Costas or...
Yeah.
I could lose an expensive pair just as much as I can lose a small cheap pair.
That old cheap pair is going to... It's just like a mutt, you know, just loyal.
Just loyal. Wait a minute. This lens keeps popping out. Pop it back in there, and there you go. Mornings in Meridian. Glad you're out there. Roger along with Rob on this Friday after the conclusion of the Republican National Convention. So if you have anything you want to say about it, you're welcome to call us at 601-485-9191. In fact, if you want to talk about this, that, or the other thing, you can call us. 601-485-9191.
Yeah, I thought there was two other speeches last night. We focused a lot on the, I guess you would say, the prime time hour that all the networks carry. But before that, Elena Haba, I know that's a name a lot of folks are not real familiar with. She is on the Trump legal team. She is very sharp, and it was a good speech last night. She is actually going to transition over into the campaign now and be on his staff. Of course, she was an attorney on all of these legal cases, and you've seen her a lot on Fox and Newsmax and others. And Tucker Carlson was there last night.
I missed his speech.
He came out there. I think he was blown away by the reception he got, and he was just kind of giggling and like, "This is great. This is great." It was just, I mean, just typical Tucker, and it was
typical
great.
Tucker.
Yeah, it was a great speech last night. But and of course they had the pastor from that Detroit church that Trump visited. He was very, very loud and outspoken, but got his point across very well. He said, Trump could have spent his birthday weekend in a lot of other places, but he decided to come to Detroit. We invited him to our church, and the only thing he wanted for his birthday that weekend was prayer. And I thought that was a very powerful statement coming from that pastor last night. So.
Well, it was pretty powerful when he made the statement about he stood there before the people, before the nation, only by the grace of Almighty God. And, once again, we find that the Republican Party is one who's not afraid to mention religion. And, there's people that makes them uncomfortable. And to me, it's kind of satisfying. It's like, I think if you take on any task, your success on that task is multiplied enormously if you carry the good Lord with you.
Yeah, I think going back to the Trump speech last night, it was a long speech, no doubt about that. It started out beautifully, I thought, the way he told the story of his account from what happened on
Did the fireman uniform creep you out, or was that all right?
No, I thought it was
him walking over there and that kind of thing.
I thought it was beautiful because as Trump was walking out on stage after they had raised that little, I guess not a curtain, but it was something graphically they had put up, and he had walked out, and there was two other firemen that were dressed in full dress uniform.
I see.
That rolled and I thought that was a beautiful moment, but.
Now I saw something on social media where they were complaining because, look, even the jacket had the misspelling of the man's name. And then someone, I guess, matches a picture when it was hanging up at the firehouse where it had the same misspelling. Says, take that up with the station he worked for.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, now what else you got?
People just going to find anything they can. But I will say one thing about the speech. The first 20 minutes of it it was gorgeous the way it was done.
Yeah.
And then once the speech started, it was a typical Trump rally. I mean, it just felt like that. He was kind of bouncing from this subject to this subject and kind of revisiting some as he went along. But I thought the way he closed the speech was great. Yeah. He did mention Biden's name twice, but it was kind of mashed up into one little sentence because he kept saying this administration, this administration. He did mention Nancy Pelosi once there in the speech as well. But other than that, I thought the beginning and the end were great. A lot of it in the middle was a little kind of Trump rally-esque. But the funny part was the chart. He put the chart up there, and he made a joke. He's like, oh, well, there's the chart. Last time I saw this, that was a day.
Haven't been able to see this. First time I've really been able to look at it here.
Because that was what he was looking at whenever the bullet rang out.
I would like to see the chart on, if it's not already, I'd like to see the chart on a T-shirt. I think that would be good.
Oh, somebody's working on it.
No, I'm sure they are. Probably already happened. Again, we got a caller on the line. We're going to get there, but they were interviewing an independent, and I love it when people sit there proudly in front of the camera and saying they're independent, we're undecided voters, and all the rest. It's like, okay, thank you for playing your part today, but deep down, I don't know about that. But the point was, one of them did make the comment. He said, I was disappointed in the fact that he spent a lot of time talking what he did about 4 years ago instead of what he's going to do. But a lot of that was comparing what he had done, like the border, the economy, the tax break. That was all pointing to this is what's going to happen again. So it was tied to what he's going to do.
Sure.
So I thought that criticism was a little bit weak by that independent.
Well, and I know we got the call here. We're about to get that shortly, but just one more comment. Just drilling here domestically with all of the gold that we have under our feet, that will
drill, baby, drill.
That's going to trickle down to everything else because we're going to have other countries coming to us being like, "Hey, we want to buy some of that American, gas, and we want to buy that American oil." And that's just going to trickle down to other great things.
But you have others though that they feel like the national security is based on being able to distribute the wealth among nations, and part of that is buying their oils and things like that and their fuels, and so therefore there's those that are going to say, well, this is going to put us in danger because these countries are going to go bankrupt and unstabilize and all the rest. If they bankrupt Iran, that's going to be bad, isn't it?
Oh, too bad.
601-485. We had them bankrupt. But I told China, don't you do it. Don't you buy anything.
And he did throw a China virus in there last night, too.
Oh, did you like that? So, 521, good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, guys. Come in peace. Love everybody.
Love.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Ain't nothing.
Hey, those goosebumps came back again last night.
Wow. Tell us what you liked. Maybe tell us something you didn't like.
Well, I'm a firefighter, retired firefighter.
Oh, good on you.
So when that skit came up about that, it really touched me.
Excellent.
It went deep with me.
Good deal.
And, hey, where's Charles Frazier? I wanted to pick at him this morning.
He's only here. He's only on our show Monday through Wednesday.
You can catch him Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to pick on him about his alleyway. And I said, hey, he got $1 million from city council to fix his alleyway. I couldn't get some waste material from him. To bring up my
he would be the first to tell you that money ain't coming to him.
Hey, but I was going to pick at him. I'm just in joking mode. I was going to pick at him.
Well, you can call back Monday and do that.
Okay, they say they're going to dig up, that blacktop and because it needs to be redone. It's leaking all. Compromising his building. I understand all that.
It really, and we've had some off-air discussion about it, and it really kind of forces him to have to redo some of the things he's done in his business. So it's kind of a. He says yes, it's good, but he's got to do some things differently in the way he handles things in his business.
Yeah, and I'll call back and pick at him, but
you should
next week. Next week is my last week. I got to head back to my other habitat.
No, you don't.
Go there, do that.
You going back to Ohio?
Right.
Okay.
And then I'll be back for November to hunker down for the winter. So I'll be up there. What that be? August, September, and October. Then I'll be back. Hunker down for the winter with you guys.
Do you vote down here or up there?
Up there.
Okay, so you're going to have to vote early up there.
Right. Now, as far as national election, I understand I could vote either one of them since I've got property in both of them. But local, I can only vote, one of them.
Right.
And I don't want to get caught up because everybody got different opinions. They interpret them voting laws different ways.
Yeah.
So when they said I could register and vote for, like president, wherever you are, that's like people, where they called me a snowbird. And I guess I had to accept that term. Because people move out to Florida and Arizona.
Yeah.
From wherever they come out.
Well, we know you're going to be up there. You're going to be up there streaming our show, and we appreciate that. We know that.
Right. So there is a way to do it, but I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole because it got too many, interpretations of it.
I hear you.
So you know me, I like to stay on the straight and narrow.
But now, see, here's something interesting. You bring this out because, and I'm sure this has been done, because I've owned property in 2 different states, and you can rig it to where you could vote twice.
Oh, leave it alone. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Stop.
No, I'm just saying. I know that's it's risky, it's illegal, but you could do it.
No, not me.
But you do it. Yeah, you do it right there. I appreciate that. But so how long were you in the fire department?
26.
26 years. Well, good deal. Thanks for looking over your fellow men and women.
And I tell you what now, out of all the special security and different things that we was called on, what will happen is, say this incident with Trump, okay, the assassination attempt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now everybody going to be on high alert. They're going to cross all their T's and dot their I's.
We hope so.
But give it out 2 years, 3 years. A lot of those guys retire. You got new people's coming in, and they only training for it so that intensity wears off a little bit. And then say it go out 5 years before something like this happen again. Now you got a whole new crew that have never experienced this, so they always be behind the curve. You can practice, and like we used to use the term, because people say, oh, we'll rise to the occasion. No, you're going to falter to your training. It sounds good. Oh, we'll rise to the occasion. And that's a good confident builder. But in reality, you're going to falter to your training.
Yeah, you falter to your training.
Go through with, 4 or 5 years of training, and then when it hit the fan again, you may not have nobody there that actually experienced it the last time to be a leader. It was just all training that was passed on. So that's usually what happened when, we can sit back Monday morning quarterback and say, why this didn't happen? Why that? Why this? That's good. Just like football. He should have threw his pass to that receiver coming out the backfield, that running back coming out the backfield. Sort of same similarity. But personally, one of the things that I experienced, and I was always a person that, hey, we got to keep this training going. And people would say, oh, man, come on, we'll rise to the occasion. I never would let that come into my cerebral cortex.
Yeah.
No, you got to practice.
There you go. Good on you. That's right.
So
it's a lot quicker when you have the training, because to rise to the occasion, you have to go through that learning process all over again. You'll get there, but it takes longer.
Right.
There you go. Good on you. Hey, good call, Mississippi James.
All right, you guys take care. Have a good day.
Thanks for being out there. All right. 601-485-9191. Let's say a big thank you to Adam Carmichael and Adam McCree for making sure that you can have your auto glass fixed fast and affordably.
They make things simple and easy, and I think we all like the convenience of having a good local business where you can go by and get that rock pick taken care of. Or if it's a complete windshield replacement, they can do that as well because they've been doing that right for 10 years and running down there at A&A Glass. Of course, their awesome location at 217 22nd Avenue, a couple of doors down from the Children's Museum. And, of course, they work with the insurance companies and make that process super easy for you. And they're going to open up the doors here in about 10 minutes there at A&A, and they'll be there till 4 this afternoon. So when it comes to glass repairs, always think of Adam Carmichael and Adam McCree and the folks down there at A&A Glass. Their number is so easy as well, 601-693-GLASS. That's 601-693-4527. Once again, located at 217 22nd Avenue here in Meridian, or as the cool kids like to say, 217 Sela Ward Parkway. That's A&A Glass.
There you go.
I take a risk every time. I'm just going to keep doing it. So.
All right. Mornings in Meridian. Glad you're out there, and you too can be part of the show. I'm going back to this this Democrat thing.
Yes, sir.
We see the orchestration of this.
Mm-hmm.
We see that probably there was discussion. Okay, Biden's going to have his debate with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And then how long ago was that? Was that a month ago?
It was on the 27th of June.
All right, so not quite yet a month ago. So, and anybody next to the president who was, probably in a relaxed setting where he's studying or preparing for the debate, probably did look kind of sharp, and he at least came out in that debate and was sharp enough for Rachel Maddow to be able to, brag about his
mad cow,
his foreign policy and all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But they know this. They know what they are doing. They know this has been planned. They know that, okay, he is going to not be as sharp as he needs to be for this debate.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, then we can start this. And you saw all the mainstream media. It was like, poof, a switch was flipped, and mainstream media starts questioning his abilities. And now all of a sudden, this great relationship that he's had with the media starts changing a little bit.
Well, and I felt bad for Lester Holt in that interview earlier this week. It's like he was like, the look on his face, especially when he said the Secret Service director, I talked to him, he was kind of like, around media circles, you've heard this a lot on Fox and Newsmax. They think Lester Holt is a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good interviewer. He's one of the last guys on the network side that is a good interviewer, and he was having a hard time, getting stuff out of President Biden. Of course, Biden also did the interview on BET when he was in Vegas earlier this week for the NAACP convention. And he couldn't even remember the name of his Secretary of Defense. He just said that black guy.
Well, yeah, the black guy.
And I think that was a big straw breaker. That was a camel, that right there.
But it's kind of like what they deserve. They deserve to continue to prop up this candidate all the way. My opinion is, go all the way to November. Take whatever lumps come with that. And then, of course, now that does put him in the White House and in charge till January, whatever.
He's not in charge.
Well, see, that's the thing about it.
He's
just don't get us in a war. Don't get us in nuclear conflict. Just get us
on paper.
Yeah, and don't get this idea. Well, we're going to lose this, so we'll make as big a mess we can for the upcoming administration. Don't do that. Of course, they could probably do that anyway. But the point is, no, you. This is the horse you hitched your wagon to. Prop him up. You've been doing it. You've been propping him. Prop him up on into the end.
I looked at my wife last night during President Trump's speech, and I said, he had mentioned Taiwan, and I looked at her and I said, you know what? Between now and November 5th, I hope it doesn't happen, but we've always talked about China invading Taiwan at some point. We've already got the conflict going on with Ukraine. We've got the deal, obviously, with Israel and Gaza. But add a third one to this list.
Well, based on that theory, I would say Taiwan between November 5th and January.
That's coming. I promise you that's coming.
If there's that could be. And I know our military, at least the ones I know personally, they've even been told, hey, expect your next big one could be with, communist China.
Yep. Mm.
China is a communist nation, right?
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yep.
We asked them to make all of our goods, right?
Yeah.
Did we do that? Did we ask China to make all of our goods? Did we ask a communist country to make all of our goods for us?
Yeah.
We did that?
Yeah.
And I'm not just waking up from a dream, am I?
No.
We said, let's reach out to the communist China because they do have a lot of people. They need a good, strong middle class, and why don't we just tear ours apart and let them build up theirs?
Jerry mentioned Kim Jong-un last night.
What are we doing?
He mentioned Kim Jong-un last night. I was like, oh, Rocket Man. We haven't heard from him in a while. I hope we never hear from him, but, he did mention Rocket Man last night.
Mornings in Meridian. Let's take a phone call, 601-485-9191. Good morning.
Well, Roger, you had a caller on there talking the other day about Donald Trump and his radical ways, and you asked him specifically what radical policies was he talking about, and I figured it out. It was Trump's radical policy to open up our southern border. Oops, wait a minute, that wasn't Trump. It was Trump. Maybe talking about Trump's radical ideas to stop drilling for our energy resources, so we would be dependent on countries that hate our guts. Oh, wait a minute, that wasn't Trump. So, and it goes on and on and on. I would love for him to answer the question, what was these radical policies of Trump compared to Biden's radical policies, which don't even come close. But what a speech, guys. What a guy. Of course, whether Biden's in there or not, he's not running the show anyway. And how smart of it was of Trump not to even mention Biden's name in an hour-and-a-half speech but one time. Because it's not Biden. It's not Biden's policies and all that. He has no right to be president, but he's not the one running the show, and we all know that, guys.
So is it realistic enough to think that what we're really talking about on the Democrat side is they're trying to figure out how Barack Obama can go into his fourth term?
Well, they mentioned in Michelle. They're talking about Big Mike being president.
Big Mike.
What is and they sound serious when they do that. So you got Kamala, you got Big Mike, and you got Gavin Newsom, and what other choices do you have?
Yeah, they've mentioned Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, the governor of Pennsylvania, some other folks like that. So
I think George Clooney's just going to have to come out of the entertainment world and get feet first into politics.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they got to get Biden to submit to this because those delegates are his delegates.
That's right.
They don't belong to anybody else unless he gives them up. They will stay right there, and that means the money, all those millions of monies in the war chest, cannot be taken from him unless he agrees to it. So.
Well, it's like I said on the Republican. It's like I said on the Republican side. I felt like Trump should run again simply because the Republican elite to do with him, and I think all the on the side, the Democrats have made their beds. They need to lie in it and continue to prop up. What's that guy's name? Biden. That's the one. All the way through this process because they brought this on themselves.
Well, if you didn't see the human element of Donald Trump, he's nothing but a rear end. He only thinks of himself. If you ain't seen the human side of him in these last several days, and you can play it off if you want to, but what a great patriot. Out there taking a chance of getting killed, not because he needs the money, guys, not because, but just because he loves this country and wants to see all Americans do good.
Yeah.
So, what a radical he is. So anyway.
Well, Chuck, I gotta give you kudos for switching phone services. They haven't cut you off once this phone call.
Well, I ain't saying nothing. It could be any minute.
Okay. Have a good day. Thanks for the call.
There's all kind of slope roofs right here where I'm at. So I'm gonna get
Oh man, those are scary. Especially those those ones that are almost flat. They're pitched, but not much.
But how great was it last night? Trump sitting there in the family section or whatever before he went backstage, and his little granddaughter comes up to him and she sits in his lap, and my wife was like, oh, those eyes are getting heavy. Oh, she looks tired. And then she started yawning. I was like, yep, she needs that nap.
She needs that nap.
But she was sitting with Grandpa, and he started bouncing her on his knee. I was like, and then they showed Eric's other son over there with Laura. It's just to see the grandchildren there last night was great too. So
it was. Well, on the local level, there's a back-to-school bash today. That's at 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock at the T.J. Harris School-based clinic. That's right. Provided by the Meridian Health Clinic. Greater Meridian Health Clinic. So 11 to 2, you can contact them at 601-483-6403.
All right.
That's the back-to-school bash. Join us for a fun-filled event. Prepare children for all ages to return to school. Free food, free food, snowballs, supplies, all this thing. That's at T.J. Harris School-based clinic. We'll take a break for Fox News, and then let's just come back.
Okay.
All right.
This is a Fox News alert. A guilty verdict for an American in Russia. I'm Dave Anthony, and it is a conviction that was expected at journalist Evan Gershkovich's espionage trial.
And the U.S. State Department said as much yesterday, calling the entire Russian legal process a sham.
Gershkovich has been sentenced to 16 years in prison. He and the Wall Street Journal deny that he's a spy, and Fox's Nate Foy also reports the quick end to the trial today is leading to speculation of a prisoner swap like the one that freed Brittany Griner.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov confirmed this week that American and Russian intelligence agencies discussed the possibility of a prisoner swap, but he said that the trial needs to finish first.
The Republican convention's over.
I am running to be president for all of America.
Former President Trump called for unity, accepting the Republican nomination.
We rise together or we fall apart.
Though he was also very critical of the Biden administration, vowing to bring inflation down, stop illegal immigration, and end foreign wars days after surviving an assassination attempt.
The attacker in Pennsylvania wanted to stop our movement, but the truth is the movement has never been about me. It has always been about you.
Now, this is a 23rd Democrat in Congress, John Caston. Public calls for President Biden to drop out of the Democratic race. Many others are urging him to consider that amid concerns of his mental fitness, fearing a big election loss. There's some long lines at airports with flights. Just one of the things affected by a global IT outage the CrowdStrike CEO says is being resolved, apologizing for it, blaming a Windows security update gone wrong.
This is affecting tens of millions of people from Sydney to Boston, Massachusetts, where Mass General Brigham, the hospital in Boston, canceled non-urgent surgeries and all medical visits today. The good news, though, American Airlines is back up and running after an hours-long ground stop. Delta getting back online as well.
Fox's David Spun. It also affected 911 centers and banks. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents 10 things on a food truck owner's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Stocking the fridge, prepping the stations, finding employees that get along well, finding employees that actually do their job. Looking at you, Gary. Balancing the books, balancing the flavors, having a fresh menu and fresh produce and fresh meat, but never a fresh mouth. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Hey, you've heard me say that cell phone service with Pure Talk is half the cost of Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text, plenty of data, and you think, okay, Hannity, what's the catch? Well, there isn't one. Just ask the thousands of listeners who have made the switch of mine, and they love Pure Talk and their U.S. customer service, their great coverage on America's most dependable 5G network. Dial pound 250, say the keyword save now to start saving now on your cell phone plan.
Again, our top Fox News story, American journalist Evan Gershkovich has just been convicted in Russia, a verdict that was expected at his espionage trial that the U.S. calls an illegitimate sham. Gershkovich has been jailed since last year, and he and the Wall Street Journal deny that he is a spy. Back to former President Trump, he started last night's convention speech, recounting in detail that assassination attempt.
I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet.
Saying if he didn't turn his head just before that, he'd be dead.
I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
The former president also led a moment of silence for the Trump rally attendee who was killed in the shooting, firefighter Corey Comparator, whose funeral is today.
Some emotional moments as former President Trump
brought Corey's fire helmet and jacket on stage and honored his self-sacrifice as part of the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours. Mr. Trump also honored 57-year-old David Dutch and 74-year-old James Copenhaver, who were seriously injured at the rally but recovering in the hospital, and he praised the generosity of donors to a fund for the victims' families.
There is an empty cell on death row in Alabama after what happened last night.
After the U.S. Supreme Court refused to consider his handwritten request for a stay, Keith Gavin was given a lethal injection in Alabama's death chamber. He'd been convicted of shooting William Clayton Jr. to death at an automated teller machine in northeast Alabama in 1998.
Fox's Jack Callahan. On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed before the opening bell the morning after a big sell-off. Turning to golf, the Open Major Championship in Scotland. Shane Lowry has a one-shot lead at 5 under par in second-round play. Tiger Woods is 13 over, almost at the bottom of the leaderboard. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Let me follow this logic of the left. He's not fit to run for re-election, but he's fit to serve as president now? I don't think so. You know, you would be invoking, if you truly believe that, and this wasn't about winning an election, you'd be invoking the 25th Amendment to our Constitution. So it's either both or neither. This is about the election. It's about power. Don't let anything kid you, because they've known about the cognitive decline. They've covered it up, and then he becomes pretty much a useful idiot and does whatever they want. That's why the Squad and AOC, they kind of like Joe there, because Joe supports them and has been implementing their radical agenda.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Ensuring the safety of your family is paramount, and Burner, BYRNA, they offered the most effective, less lethal solution to protect you and your loved ones. Go to their website, Burner.com, to learn more. In moments of crisis, choosing a less lethal option is crucial. Now, Burner's launcher is equipped with powerful deterrents like tear gas and kinetic rounds. They boast a 60-foot range. They can incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes, ensuring that you do not have to resort to lethal force. Now, Burner's mission is to save lives, both yours and any potential assailants. Now, choosing less lethal options can also spare you the life-changing legal ramifications that come along with using lethal force. It's legal in all 50 states. You don't need a background check. You don't need a permit. With over 15,000 4.5-star reviews, well, Burner's products, well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to love them. They can be shipped directly to your door. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. You'll get 10% off your purchase. That's burner.com/Hannity, 10% off.
Local news now on 102.1 WALT Meridian.
I'm Cash Matlock with Queen City Newsfeed. Here's what's happening. The Neshoba County Sheriff's Office confirmed the arrests of Jimmy Aaron Smith, 21, from Philadelphia, and Jacob Scott Ladd, 18, from DeKalb, in connection with the recent break-ins at the Neshoba County Fairgrounds. The two are accused of multiple car burglaries along with thefts from a cabin and a camper. Both individuals are facing charges of commercial burglary and petty larceny. The MSU Riley Center in downtown Meridian is undergoing some restoration on its exterior. The construction is happening on the side of the 5th Street entrance. Head of MSU Meridian campus, Dr. Terry Del Cruz, said the project is to restore stucco and windows that have weathered over the past 18 years. He expects the restoration will be complete sometime between October and November and will cost around $1 million. In the meantime, visitors can enter the facility on the 22nd Avenue side entrance. Meridian Public School District celebrated a significant milestone with the official reopening of Ray Stadium's playing surface. The ribbon-cutting ceremony held Thursday morning marked the debut of a distinctive royal blue turf, reminiscent of Boise State University's former Smurf turf. The decision to opt for a blue turf arose from discussions about upgrading the aging playing surface. Installed by ACT Global as part of MPSD's comprehensive capital improvement plan, the new turf cost about $369,836. I'm Cash Matlock. For more news updates throughout the day, go to Queen City Newsfeed on Facebook or visit Queen City.
The local voice of Meridian is here. Now back to more of Mornings in Meridian on News Talk 102.1 WALT.
ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second hour of the two best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Roger B. along with Rob Atkinson.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And, of course, we always invite you to pick up that phone, give us a call at 601-485-9191, and we happen to have a caller on the line. So why don't we just take time right now to go right to the phones. Good morning. Good morning, caller. How you doing today?
MAGA morning, true American patriot.
Has.
He's alive.
Has, before you start, I just want to say we've been praying for you every day, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it.
Amen.
The troops and people I don't even know been sending up prayers like a AAA battery, anti-aircraft artillery. Mine got about as high as my upper lip, but the prayers of the righteous availeth much.
Absolutely. Hope you're doing well.
And the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. But like Arnold Schwarzenegger, as he portrayed the Terminator, I'll be back.
And you are back.
Hey, Has, we mentioned a little bit about you on the show shortly after we learned you were hospitalized, but do you have a good prognosis?
Well, I hadn't got the report back from the surgeon, the pathologist, and all, but hopefully we're looking for a good outcome.
Amen. Amen. Okay, well, we'll continue the prayers, but it's good to hear your voice, brother.
Well, you know, here it is, this assassination attempt on Trump. Now, Trump himself, and everybody knows, no man kept Trump alive. By all rights, they should be playing a funeral dirge, but hopefully in November, they'll be playing Hail to the Chief. But two little bits of scripture come to play here. Rely not on thine own understanding. And the other one is even more powerful than that. No weapon that is formed by the enemy shall prosper against me. Now, anybody out there that's a doubting Thomas, a dumb bunny, you want an example of divine intervention, you hadn't got to go back to biblical times. This is one right here in the here and now and in your face. Trump is a living, breathing, walking example of God's power to provide that divine intervention in the face of peril and all the forces of darkness out there. The shooter, he's waking up this morning in HE double helix, where all the wicked and evil and those that died without a saving grace, God, knowledge of Jesus Christ are. I urge you not to wake up with him. But, yep, we'll be.
As you see the speech last night?
Yes, I did. And I think it set a record, and I think he had the previous record. Now, somebody of Trump's age, that's power and endurance to give a speech. It's like an hour and 30 minutes long. And, you know, here it is.
After being up late for 4 nights.
Yeah, for the last 3 nights, yeah. Yeah.
And we're seeing dynamics at play here in America. We've got to choose the path that we want to go. We want to restore this country to greatness. We want to walk the straight and narrow path, or we want to stroll down the road to perdition that's going to lead to destruction.
Has, what do you think about the VP pick with J.D. Vance?
Well, I didn't know anything much about him. I watched him, and I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be what this country needs. And you know, here it is: the progressives, the socialists, the commies, whatever you want to call those people, evil. Let's just put it evil. That's a good catch-all. You've got to stand in defiance of this. And you've got to have the fire. You've got to have the roar of the lion. And that's what it's going to take. They expect you to conform and cower and kowtow to what they believe, and I'm going to stand in defiance of it. and I think these people are too.
I think Roger will agree with me on this, if there's one person that has been mentioned this week at the Republican National Convention that would get along with, and that is J.D. Vance's grandmother, Mamaw. You would get along with her just great. The 19 loaded handguns that they found in her house. She didn't want to be an arm's length away from having a loaded firearm in her house.
Well, that's a good thing. And like I said before, a man needs two swords. He needs a sword of the Spirit, which I'm not quite well versed in that, and I have not had to wield it yet. And he needs a physical killing sword. I'm pretty versed in that. But we need both.
I have a feeling you're a little more versed in the other than you give yourself credit.
Exactly.
But we've got to stand the gap.
Yeah.
We've got to stand in defiance of the enemy.
Well,
and win, lose, or draw now, it's up to us. We're going to have to make and take the battle to the enemy. Do not show cowardness in the face of the enemy. We've got right on our side. We've got God on our side. Take the battle to the enemy's doorstep and defeat him and walk in victory, walk in the light.
The answer is pretty simple. You just have to get one more registered voter in all of these swing states than the opposing party.
That's right.
And what is it? We had a visit while you were away with Billy Jack called in.
Yeah, Billy Jack called in, yeah.
And reminded us that, you can talk about who's running and who's not running and what the Democrats are going to do, what they're not going to do. But it all comes down to red-blooded American Republicans getting off their you-know-what.
Getting off that duff.
And getting to the polls.
Yep.
That's right. And, people bled and died for your right to vote. Only free men have that right. Somebody paid that price. And that price was paid in blood. Just like the forgiveness of sin, it's paid in blood of the Lamb.
See?
That's the coin of the realm.
There you have it.
Are you going to deny both? Are you going to take an attitude that it wasn't important for both sacrifices to be made for your freedom? The freedom to walk free in this country and to think and act and say like you please and to vote your heart and consciousness, and the freedom from the wages of sin, which is death and hell.
Well, brother,
paid in blood.
It's good to hear your voice. Glad you are on the. I'm glad you're on this side of the grass right now.
That's right.
And we're going to keep praying that you're going to stay that way.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. Like I said, I had people praying for me I didn't even know. But I appreciate your visit up there. Joe come up there to see me and others, and it means a lot.
I told him, I said, I was going up there to see my brother who's in bed and he's just had surgery. He's sitting up eating a hamburger. I said, man.
But
in a way, you had your bullet too, because you had something going on that if it had not had attention done to it, you wouldn't be around much longer.
No, that's exactly correct. But God is the one that puts the roar in the lion. But as far as the lion is concerned, that's me. The lion stands at the ready.
Ready.
The lion stands at the ready. And when Donald J. Trump gets elected to be the president, I will serve my president and my country in any capacity that I can.
Very good, sir.
We all take care and keep saying those prayers, and Roger that.
Amen. Man. All right. Thank you. It's our first phone call from Hazmat since he's been out of the hospital.
Yeah, good to hear his voice this morning. So,
Robin,
good stuff.
And I'll just take a minute here. I know that we're talk radio. We just turn on the mics every weekday morning and just kind of see where the show goes. But we really have kind of a listening family. And to hear that Joe went up to check on him and others, and it's just kind of nice that we have that little community.
Well, we got that little community of the regular callers that call up, but I think we've also got an even bigger community than that. Folks that may have never called before, that have listened to us this program for not just a year or so, but maybe over the years.
Like our listener in Wisconsin. Hello.
Hello.
Mornings in Meridian. So glad you're out there. Another caller on the line. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, I want to talk about, y'all talking about China and Taiwan. Guys, what all is going to happen? If they're going to do anything, they know they got to do it by January the 20th.
Yep.
What's Iran going to do? What's North Korea going to do? What is China going to do other than Taiwan? What else will Russia do? They're going to do it while we're weak as we've ever been. The thing with China is why we put the dollar ahead of our freedoms and to be taken advantage of by a bunch of communists who kill their own people at any whim. And we sit here, well, we can't do that with China. That's where we get our goods manufactured, and you're going to have to pay more if you don't like China. Good. We can cripple China in a short period of time. They have no oil reserves unless they bought them or stole them from somewhere else. And we could do away with all of our dadgum factories who ran off to China and are using slave labor and child labor to make these goods that's in all our stores over here.
Look, there we go. Phone got him again.
There we go. That's it.
FBI had enough of it.
He doesn't realize how much scrutiny he's under. He's got the FBI. He's got the CIA. He's got Department of Homeland Security.
Probably got the Mississippi government after him too.
Well, he's got the MBI.
They're all there.
Oh man, it's just
Why is there so many agents in Clark County? I don't know.
Why are them drones over there? I know that Chickasahaya River. I don't know. What's that all about? Anyway, it's Mornings in Meridian. Hope you're having a good one. Let's take another phone call. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Hey, y'all. It's Paul.
Hey,
Paul,
bro.
PT.
I have to say up front as a disclaimer, it is the height of hubris to think that I could call after Has with anything.
Boy, it was so good to hear him this morning.
Yeah, I've been missing his voice on the air.
Yeah.
So I hope everything is going well for him. I guess I wanted to call. I tried to call you guys yesterday, but your phones were blowing up, and I actually had to go to work. But I got my first introduction to J.D. Vance for real last night, night before last, and was pretty impressed with what I heard. Although I did tell people yesterday that I thought it was interesting when his wife introduced him. She said something about him switching to becoming a vegetarian, and I thought that might be a problem on the campaign trail. Now, we don't want him fainting or anything. Now, he's got to be able to keep up with a guy that eats quarter pounders as a snack. Trump's idea of a nugget is a quarter pounder. So
yeah, exactly.
I want to make sure Vance has got steam under the hood to keep it going.
Hey, Paul, have you watched the Hillbilly Elegy on Netflix?
I have not. The problem was I saw who was in the stars on it, and it just didn't jump out at me at the time. I'm going to have to go back and watch it now just because.
It's fantastic. It is. I watched it the other day before his speech. That was on Wednesday night. And I wanted to watch it before he went on stage. And, boy, once you watch that and connect the speech, it is an amazing story. So,
well, what's interesting to me is how his Hollywood buddies that put that on are sort of turning their back on him now that he's the VP. It kind of, it tells you that they are really about their party now. They are all about the party, not the person, that's for sure. So it'll be interesting how that goes. But yeah, I think that was a brilliant move on Trump's part because he is young enough to deal with the slings and arrows in the next 4 years and be perfectly positioned to start campaigning for his own 8-year cycle. Hopefully. So we'll see how it turns out. But I think Trump has set up a great slate in terms of himself, and then having somebody who's going to be coming into a position that's going to open up doors for him going forward.
Good deal.
I want to talk a minute about Trump's speech last night.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure that you guys have already talked about the the moment where he kissed the helmet.
Yeah, we did.
I was telling somebody that didn't see the speech about it this morning, and they got tears in their eyes, and almost lost it right there on the spot. I said, it probably wasn't a dry eye in the place. But I also was struck by the humility that Trump showed last night. You know, all these people that think that it was all ego-driven, you know, people who were fans knew that it was one of those cases where you scratch the surface and they're just, you know, this warm, mushy marshmallow underneath that loves his grandchildren. And you know, when the one came out and spoke night before last and talked about him calling her while she's at school and her having to remind him that she was at school.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that's classic.
Yeah, she was. I tell you what, that was Kai Trump you're talking about, and yeah, she was. That was probably the most pleasant surprise of the entire week, is to hear from one of the grandchildren.
And to be as eloquent as she is,
yeah,
that was just amazing.
Yeah,
she was not nervous, not scared of anything, and if that's, you know, if that's one thing I've tried to instill in the kids in my life is, you know, walk in a room and believe in who you are. Don't set your self-worth by what other people say. And you know those grandchildren have to do that.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, it was great to see him surrounded by kids at his feet and hanging out with him last night on the stage. And, you know, in spite of the importance of the night, he had time for them. I think that's important too. But
I was thinking about I was going to say, thinking about the family there. It kind of crossed my mind. It says, you know, it doesn't matter about the millions or billions that he may be worth. He's a very rich man to have his family around him like that. That's where his wealth really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, and somebody said this week, you know, it's a tale of two families. If you look at how the kids turned out, you know, you can make your vote decision just on that basis alone.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think what he showed last night is similar to what he showed, you know, right immediately after that. He's really interested in unifying the group. I thought his comments about Franklin Graham was hilarious, that Franklin was trying to call him out for using bad words. And
the story's not as good. The story's not as good when you don't use the bad words. I got to talk to him about that, you know.
Well, he's from New York. You know?
Yeah, he's from New York. Yeah, there you
go. That New York guy.
But the tribute, the off-the-hand tribute he paid to Billy Graham, and the fact that Billy Graham was a great rally guy too, just cracked me up. I was like, you know, it was like
I was
actually sitting around the table talking to everybody. You know what I mean?
I was surprised to learn that his father took him to Yankee Stadium to hear Billy Graham.
Yeah,
that surprised me a little bit.
But I got the sense that, you know, back in the day when he was running for, and I saw they around this one C-SPAN, it seemed to me that everybody in the crowd felt like he was talking directly to them, and I knew that day he was going to be president.
Yeah.
Because he had that ability to communicate, and he did it last night.
Yeah.
In spades. Would I give the whole convention an A+? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there were some great speeches. It was a good time.
It was
I don't think they went over the top.
They get an A+. They get an A+ from me in planning. That was well structured, well
executed. Yeah,
well executed. Yes, absolutely.
And they stayed on point, and they stayed on time as close as they could. I got to say, the hero for me, though, is the 98-year-old veteran who wants to re-enlist if Trump goes in, and is prepared any wants to.
That was great.
If that didn't make you proud, nothing.
That did it, Paul. That's for sure.
Well, I mean,
anyway, there's my thoughts. I thought I would share those with you guys.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Now we'll try to endure the next one.
Yeah.
Always good to hear from you.
All right, guys.
All right, see you. All right, 601-485-9191.
I just thought the convention, when you look at the 4 nights collectively, I think it hit on just about every emotional chord you can imagine. We had laughter, we had tears, we had a party in some sense last night before Trump went on stage. I mean, Michael Whatley and Laura Trump and the National Committee, a big tip of the cap to them. I've said this numerous times. There needed to be change within the RNC. Nothing against Ronna McDaniel, but she was just kind of losing grip on fundraising, and it just felt stale over the last several election cycles. And I think this last midterm where we heard there was going to be this big red wave coming on all of these seats, and of course it was more or less a faucet drip more than anything. I think at that point they knew they had to make a change, and Michael Whatley and Laura Trump and others, I mean, they organized this, and boy, they had a lot of good speeches. Like I said, I wouldn't give it a complete A+. You really can't give anything an A+ nowadays, but give them a solid A.
Milwaukee, we're spending $2 million.
Yeah, exactly.
In your economy.
Yeah, I told them those ships, the fronts of those ships, we got to make them more pointy.
Yeah, make them look good. They look good. They're great-looking cruisers, but we got to do something. Let's take a phone call, 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Yeah, this is Brian.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? You know, I go to Taiwan several times a year.
Oh, okay.
And so, because my daughter's on the swim team there. And I wanted to point out a couple things about the Taiwan thing.
Yes.
I think, we have, they constantly talk about how the Taiwanese president is provoking the thing by saying he wants independence.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember, Taiwan has been independent since World War II, basically.
Yeah.
And they've run their own military. They have their own economy, everything. But I didn't think he was really being that provocative by saying he wants independence, because they actually already are.
Exactly.
But China hasn't attacked him. I want to tell people why that is. If you understand the Chinese well enough, you understand how important space is to them. And they're a little worried that if they attack Taiwan, because Taiwan is very tough terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go in there and they don't take Taiwan right away, they'll lose space. And that is what is the one thing that's holding them back.
Oh, really?
And so I don't think it's so much, and I mean, the more the U.S. puts military in there, the greater the risk comes of them not actually pulling off everything right away.
Mm-hmm.
Because people make it sound like, you could take Taiwan, they could take Taiwan anytime they want. It's not that simple.
Okay.
And I of course, I've seen all the military drills down there. They're planning to fight to the teeth. I mean, they're not going to give an inch.
Wow. So this could be like Putin trying to take over Ukraine. Well, it didn't quite happen the way we thought it was going to happen, did he?
And that's what they're worried about.
Yeah.
And I did want to say one more thing about this, the whole RNC thing and everything.
Sure.
And it's really not about what they were talking about out there, but I have sat there and listened to even Republicans in my own family talk about, those tweets Trump says and how terrible those tweets are he does and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yet outside in that protest, they're walking around with signs of the guy who shot at Trump.
Yeah.
And talking about him being a national hero.
Mm-hmm.
And there were several people who died there that day.
That's
and I mean,
right.
So disgusting.
Yeah.
So vile.
Yeah.
Trump couldn't possibly write a tweet worse than what they're doing right now.
Amen.
And yet, they're out there saying, well, they're talking about mass deporting. I'm so disturbed by this. But you're not disturbed by a guy walking around signs saying he's a national hero for murdering people?
Mercy.
I mean, this is we're in a different kind of climate, And you had another caller calling earlier, referred to him as the enemy. And I know that seems a little extreme to people, but that's really he is right. That's what we're up against. We're up against the people that are absolutely oppose us in every way. When that guy shot Trump, and most of us are deer hunters are listening right now, you shoot your target and it goes down. You don't just keep shooting above and out into the crowd. This guy is not just targeting Trump. They're targeting anybody who supports Trump. And they want us dead. I mean, that was clearly the example I thought that I took from that. I don't know what you took from, but that's what I took.
That's interesting. You're right. And there was that kind of a hesitation. There was like the shot fired, and then it was quiet. Then Trump goes down, but then there was pow, 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 pow. And that's an interesting point. Thank you for bearing that out.
All right. Yeah. Y'all take care. Have a good day.
Hey, good insight. And of course, yes, here's somebody who travels to Taiwan on a regular basis. And rugged terrain. Chinese say, well, I guess they're thinking, if we ever do this, we got to make sure it happens 100%. And so there's enough doubt that they can pull it off. That's why they haven't attacked them.
Yeah, and we won't be sending hundreds of millions there like we are Ukraine.
Ooh. Mornings in Meridian. I want to say a big thank you. We've gone actually a bit long, but this has been a good show. It's been a very good show. Yep. Hearing from Haz and hearing a new I haven't heard from this caller in a long time, checking in with us about, and I do happen to know this family. His daughter is an excellent swimmer. And
swim.
Very much
That's what we say. We say swim.
Swim, that's right. But let's thank the cars. Can we say something good about the cars?
I'll tell you what, I love that new sign they have close to the entrance there. It's the Milwaukee Superstore.
Trucker Supply. Trucker
right.
Supply, the Milwaukee Superstore.
And it is a superstore down there at Truckers. I dare you to go in there today and be like, I'm not going to find anything. You're going to walk out probably with 3 or 4 things or more when you go down to Trucker Supply. Of course, yes, it is a big Milwaukee headquarters there for you, but also they got Knipex tools, the channel locks with that German engineering, and of course, Yeti. I know we've talked about fair season plenty on the show this week. Of course, Neshoba County Fair is coming up next weekend. It'll start on the 26th. Nothing wrong with grabbing you a Yeti mug or a cooler for the fair coming up. And of course, they got Streamlight flashlights and Hotsy pressure washers, and they've got a good line of those down there at Trucker Supply. Go by and see them, 519 Highway 19 South here in Meridian, and they're right next door to McDonald's there on 19 South, and they've got Milwaukee, Yeti, and more at Trucker Supply. Big thanks to the Carr family.
When we come back, we'll take more calls about the convention, but I want to tell you about the next federal law that I'd like to see.
Uh-oh.
And I want to see if you agree, or I want you all to see if you agree with it, but I want to talk to my congressman and my senator, because I do have a law that I'd like to see passed in the United States of America.
Okay.
So I want to hear from you if I'm right or wrong.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Taco Bell has launched a new menu item, introducing Cheese Street Chalupa Tacos, made with either grilled marinated steak or slow-roasted cantina chicken, mozzarella, pepper jack cheese, and topped with fresh onions, cilantro, and creamy jalapeno ranch sauce. The item officially launched yesterday. You can get 2 for less than $6. More than 3 million Bissell handheld steam cleaners are being recalled because the device can spew hot water or steam while the products are in use or being heated up, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which poses a burn risk. The company has confirmed that it received more than 150 reports of injury. Consumers are urged to immediately stop using the cleaners and contact Grand Rapids, Michigan-based Bissell for a refund or store credit. Futures are mixed. Thursday, the Dow Industrials lost 533, the Nasdaq lost 125, and the S&P 500 down 43. That's Your Money Now.
0% financing up to 96 months. If you need a new tractor for a few acres behind your house, for farmland, or for your hunting camp, then hurry to Freeman Tractor, Highway 494, Collinsville, Mississippi, and see all the new LS tractors. LS tractors are built tough, easy to use, and they last for years and years. Freeman Tractor has all different sizes, models, and horsepower to fit your needs. And right now, with approved credit, 0% financing up to 96 months is being offered. Freeman Tractor Company, LS Tractors. That's the blue ones, and they're terrific.
Oftentimes, you really owe it to yourself to go out with family or with friends and enjoy a truly fine dining experience. The Rustler at 5915 Old Highway 80 West is just the place. Start with appetizers like crab claws, fried or sautéed, barbecue shrimp, or tuna Napoleon. For an entree, the Rustler is famous for its steaks and prime rib, lemon pepper grouper, or lobster tail. The desserts and after-dinner drinks at the Rustler are simply superb. The Rustler will make your dining a lovely experience.
The best radio lineup in Meridian lives at Meridian Media Group. The best news talk is at 102.1 WALT.
I think they also lie about how much they understand the impact, the plight that the American family goes through.
All of your country legends live at 105.7 The Legend.
This kiss, unstoppable. You and me going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars.
And all those classic hits you remember live at 97.9 The Buzz.
We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen delivery of the tiger.
It's the best lineup in Meridian. News Talk 102.1 WALT, 105.7 The Legend, and 97.9 The Buzz. We are Meridian Media Group.
You can now listen to WALT on your desktop computer by visiting WALTmeridian.com.
little Pink Floyd coming in here. Why? Well, because it's what I want to talk about. But before I do, welcome back to Mornings in Meridian. Roger along with Rob.
Good morning. Happy Friday, folks.
Thank you. It's Mornings in Meridian, and we want to say, I'm so grateful that we have good businesses in Meridian to go to take care of our needs, especially if you need a battery. There's a place called Battery One Source.
That's right, Battery One Source at 2618 North Frontage Road here in Meridian, 601-693-1500. Of course, John Dufour and the entire staff is amazing down there at Battery One Source, and they're going to be open until 4:30 this afternoon. They're open right now, so go by and see them there on North Frontage Road, and they got batteries for everything you might need, watches, remote cell phones, even down to the laptop computers. And these cell phones, we live with them constantly in our hands, and sometimes if you don't have a case, you don't have a good case on there, you drop them, you're going to get that crack. It's going to happen, and they've got an expert down there that'll get them fixed up right for you, and they'll get you back on the road with that. That is Battery One Source. Hey, golf cart service and repair. Don't forget about that as well. 693-1500. John Dufour, as our good friend Dr. Toby Bates always says, he's so nice they named him twice. That's Battery One Source. And in the words of Haz, don't be a dumb bunny. Go to Battery One Source.
Go to Battery One Source.
That's right.
All right, I might be suggesting something here that might be infringing upon freedoms, maybe a little bit. But what do I hold in my hand here, Rob?
That'd be a $20 bill.
It's a $20 bill. It's United States currency, and it says, if I can read this fine print there, it says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private.
Okay.
Now, here's what here's where I'm going. It occurred to me when I was walking through the Atlanta airport on a trip at the early 4th of July weekend. No one in the airport is taking cash.
Hardly at all now.
And then I hear from my mother-in-law, who just returned from a trip on a cruise, and talking about no one taking cash. And you see some places where they would much rather prefer you to use a debit card, credit card, and not cash. Now, I follow me out on this. If this note right here, I'm holding it up for those that are seeing, what is it, $20 bill, and it does say it's legal tender. Businesses like the ones we just talked about.
Sure.
Battery One Source takes cash, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate
absolutely.
that. But if this is legal tender for all debts, private and public, and you're a business and you sign a business license, nobody's in business in the United States unless they have a business license. So it's the government that gives you the authority and the power to conduct business in this country.
Sure.
I had to have a business license hanging in my office. Everybody who does, we have one here somewhere in the company. I feel that if that's the case, if you're going to take the privilege of conducting business in the United States of America, I think provide ways, as inconvenient as it may be, that you take cash for transactions and not limit my ability to purchase your product by not allowing me to use cash. So I think I would like to see, now I may be, this may start sounding liberal to some people, but I just think there should be a law requiring businesses. One more thing to pile on businesses. I know we're regulated like crazy, and this kind of goes against my grain a little bit, but I do believe that if I purchase something from you, if you're going to offer something for me to sell, you should be required to take my government note that is something that is conduct all debts private and public.
Sure.
You should be able. I should be able to use this at your business.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a federal law that says any business in the United States of America should be allowed or is required to accept cash for payment of services rendered. How do you feel about that?
I don't have an issue with that. I think where this whole cashless thing started, where it really kind of
took off. You don't have an issue with me having a law like that? Or
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I think cash is king. I would much rather prefer to pay cash for everything, but it's the convenience we have now of having your debit card on standby. But I think this whole cashless thing started the big drive for it happened during the virus. You know, the whole, you know, you always saw these signs that were up like, you know, we're not carrying much change or whatever currency, this and that. But that's really where it started being really heightened. And if you've noticed, a lot of businesses have the option when you go to pay for like a meal or a service or whatever it might be. You go and tap your card or insert the card in the little machine, and then on the back end of that transaction, they'll have a few options of tipping. And you heard the president mention tipping last night, and I've talked about that here on this program because that affects our household very much so, because my wife basically works in the service industry, hair and nails, because, well, tips. When they go on a card, you have to pay a tax. But if you've noticed, that's when the cashless thing started. Yeah. And for some reason, it has gained more steam as we've gone along. I think a lot of local businesses, like we talked a lot about with Battery One Source, I think they're always going to stay ingrained with the cash. But I think it's these big corporations that are pushing that digital, that footprint of using a card. I don't know why that is, but yeah, you're right. If you have currency that you are going to pay for something with, you know, why turn that away?
I mean, until the United States government stops printing, and I think that's really what some in the government would like to see, stop printing and minting coins and all the rest. But until that happens, I think you should be required to take my American money for transactions and services rendered.
I just had some bad thoughts about places that take only cash, but I'm not going to talk about that on radio. I'll tell you off air.
Well, and you mentioned the credit card thing. It's, you know, they get the tip options. It's a little, you know, and so you have some situations where and caller, we're going to get to in just a second there, but we have a situation where the waitress will bring you the credit card thing and has the tip option and is holding it there for you. Now you're deciding right in front of the server, you know, which tip button you're going to push. I don't like that too much.
Well, and when we tip, we don't put it on the card. We give them cash.
Well,
always.
Yeah. Let's take a phone call here at Mornings in Meridian. Thank you for holding, caller. Come on.
Good morning, Roger and Rob.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for holding on there.
Yeah, it's interesting what you just brought up. I was going to talk to you on about two things. Now you brought up another one. Now I got three to talk to.
Oh, mercy. Well, we better get rolling. What'd you think about what I just said?
Well, I had that happen to me one time. It's been 6-7 years ago now. I went south of Jackson. They manufacture these culverts, these plastic piping for driveways and stuff.
Yeah.
And I went out there and got a load, and they had loaded them on there, and I went back up there to pay for them, and I had a bunch of cash because somebody had paid me off, and I was wanting to get rid of it. And
I'm going to pass it down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go to the bank or nothing like that with it. And it was a little over $2,000 for them pipes.
Yeah.
And I went in there and got my money out, and she said, "We don't take cash." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, thank you." She said, and I turned around to leave. She said, "Well, you hadn't paid." I said, "I tried to."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, we don't take cash." I said, "Have you looked at one of these bills?" I pulled out, I think it was a $20 bill.
Oh, okay.
And handed her.
Yeah.
And I said, "What does that say right there?"
There you go.
She
Come
said,
on.
"Well, I never saw that before." I said, "Well, you just wasn't looking because it's been on there for eons."
Wow.
And she said, "But we don't." I said, "I'm leaving with them pipes. I tried to pay you, you wouldn't take it, and I got 3 or 4 people standing behind me that's witnesses of that, and you can call a lawyer if you want to."
Yeah.
So she said, "Well, wait a minute."
Oh, wow.
She took that $20 bill and went in the back room somewhere or another back there, and she was gone about 5 minutes. And she come back, she said, "We'll take cash."
Right, exactly. There you go. Come on.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I know there's going to be somebody who's going to say, well, you know, businesses already have enough problems, and it's easier to keep track of the purchases, and you have less opportunity for theft, obviously. But still, it doesn't change the fact that for centuries, there's been transactions made with some sort of coinage or cash or tangible monetary exchange.
Gold dust or something.
That's the downside of it. But the upside is, It is our currency. It is our nation's money, and if I have it, I should be able to purchase your goods that you're publicly selling to the public with using the American currency.
Some of these places, you go to a dead-gum vending machine to get you a candy bar out or a Coke out of the machine. They don't even have options for you to put change in there. You got to pay with a card.
You have to do the card.
I mean, it's unreal.
Well, that's a law. It was passed and went through our congressional process, and it became a law, and it's on our currency.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think anybody that refuses to pay with anything but cash, I think it'll hold up in a court of law.
Should.
But anyway, the next thing is, I watched that Trump last night, and I was satisfied with what I saw.
Okay.
And then his family came on there, and I was looking at what a family he's got.
Mm-hmm.
And they all look like good, healthy, American, wholesome people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to thinking, well, look at Joe Biden's kin folks and young'uns. I said, if that's what we're getting with Trump compared to what we got, everybody ought to be voting for Trump. Because Hunter ain't up to the quality of them folks I saw last night.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the other thing is,
yes, sir.
They're saying that he's not qualified to run. Joe Biden, I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
Not qualified to run for this coming up presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And seems like there's more of them up there agreeing to that fact than we know about. Well, if he's not qualified to run for presidency, why is he qualified to be president?
Well, yeah, that's a good that's right. We talked about that earlier. If he's not qualified to run, then he needs to vacate the White House. But I think they should.
Really physically fit, mentally fit to run.
Fit.
You know.
But they've propped this guy up for all this period of time. They reap what they sow, and they need to prop him up into the election time.
Well, it's all of a sudden he's going along here. He's president, but now he's not qualified. Come November, he's not going to be qualified.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like these dates on these cans expire in July of 26,
mm-hmm.
of whatever it is. Well, it's good up to the July 26, and all of a sudden it goes bad.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
No.
That's it. Not a good point. I like the comparison to the best if used date. Oh man, that's a good point. But there's been plenty of opportunity for our country to get in a mess prior to today with Biden being the president, and there is a lot of mess in our country. But we're not at war. We're not anyway. We're paying for one over in Ukraine.
Yeah, don't get me started.
I know it, but the point is, he needs to stay put. I think this is my opinion. He stay put until November. The Democrats made this. They made this mess. They need to live in this mess.
And I'm just wondering, how many of these vaccine shots has Biden had?
I think he got all of them.
How many times has he had COVID?
3.
One for every shot.
The shots might have been contributed to his demise. I don't know. I can't prove that. I'm sorry.
But isn't it amazing, though, that if things continue how they're looking right now, COVID-19 got Joe Biden in the White House, and COVID-19 might end his political career because
it might get Trump in there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
anyway,
quite
guys,
ironic. Yeah.
I got work to do. I got to go over in West Alabama some more of your radio land and
all right.
stuff. And I'll talk to y'all next week.
Thank you,
Sounds
sir.
Good.
Be careful over there.
Bye.
You're going to be crossing the border. Be careful. You're going to be over in Alabama.
Yeah, I thought about that the other day whenever he got when President Biden supposedly got COVID-19. I said it's amazing. That virus basically is what got him into the White House and what very well could get him out of this race. It's amazing how that works sometimes.
I'm getting texts of people saying, that a lot of businesses don't want to use cash because it's theft and all the rest. That I get that. I understand that completely.
Sure.
But I've been in business, and we took credit cards and cash and understood the risk. But there's accounting procedures, there's accountability procedures, there's cameras, there's all types of things you can do to mitigate the situation. But That doesn't change the excuse. I have legal currency. I should be able to purchase things legally with that currency until the U.S. government says likewise, otherwise. Mornings in Meridian. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
Hey, guys. My second time calling back.
Oh, okay.
Come on in here, sir.
Hey, I was just listening to that old Tasmanian Devil. You know, I'm sending up a prayer. I didn't know he had been in the hospital. And if he didn't mind, you know, I'd like to come by and visit him or wherever he is, home, hospital, you know, before I get out of here. Whether he's still listening or if you guys can get a word to him, you know, prayers go up for him.
Yeah, I can. Well, the best thing I can probably do is make sure that I see. Well, I have to look back and see your number, but I could probably share your number with him if he chose to call you. How's that?
There you go. That's a winner.
That'll work. Okay, bro.
All right. Take care.
Thank you for calling back. 601-485-9191. It's Mornings in Meridian. Good morning, caller. How you doing? Whoops.
Bum calling in.
Say again?
This is the old beach bum calling in.
Beach bum.
I tell you what, I bet you got some flip-flops on and a flowery shirt.
That's right.
Come on.
What's going on?
All I want to say, if the drug cartel can take cash, why can't we take cash?
Amen to that.
They don't want a credit card.
No.
Well, you know, and I get it. I pass through I know the convenience. I know the convenience of it, where all you do is just swipe that card, and you know, they get to add their little fee to it, and then the transaction's done, and their employees don't have to handle cash. I get that, but the point is,
the mines are taking cash.
Yeah. What about those pallets of cash that were left over in a certain place called Iran from a former president? What about those pallets of cash? You know,
it'll always be available for underhandedness.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, just a thought. You keep this up, and you could possibly be in a situation where, okay, if you don't believe in credit cards, and which I don't, I have credit cards. That's not a problem. But I like to use cash.
Yeah.
I tell people now, I'll take cash or gold teeth. I'd rather have the gold teeth.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, there you go. But I do like the story of the previous caller. Says, yeah, I'm taking this pipe with me because I tried to pay you for it.
Exactly.
So I'm interpreting that as you're giving it to me.
Bingo.
But
we
don't get our president back in there because he done a good job last
time. Yeah. You thought he did well then?
Yep.
Was it too long of a speech for you? Was it too long for you?
No, it wasn't long enough.
Ooh, mercy.
Come on.
But he's got my vote and all the extra votes I can pick up.
There you go. Well, thanks for checking in, Beach Bum, and just make sure put that suntan lotion on.
Yes. All right.
Or sunscreen, I guess. It used to be called suntan lotion because we tried to tan. Now it's screen.
Yeah, most of us burn.
Got to take this break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Your local weather forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Local weather now. We're tracking some off spotty showers out there. Western Alabama could get heavy at times, but more heavy rain and more widespread showers and storms are likely to fire up later this afternoon and evening as we top out in the mid-80s. Very humid out there. That's not going to change. We've got a boundary sitting over us, giving us higher rain chances today, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm meteorologist Matt Standridge with Meridian's News Talk leader, News Talk 102.1 WALT FM.
Meridian's News Talk leader is 102.1 FM WALT FM Meridian and online at WALTmeridian.com.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, get the new and exclusive Little Giant A-frame 6-foot stepladder for an everyday low price of $129.98. Plus, at Lowe's, count on getting the quantities you need when you need them. From drywall to lumber, roofing to concrete, wires to connectors. Find it all in one stop. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, see sales associate for details, excluding Alaska and Hawaii.
Had a nice little life, a little boat
A little beach, a little routine I like. A blue ocean view, free to go with the flow anywhere that I wanted to. But the moment you said put on my shoes.
I wish I had time to let that marinate, but we're running out of time.
Yep.
And just want to, we got about 20 seconds for a phone call. Good morning, caller. Go ahead.
Cash will never be totally obsolete by the politicians because them using credit cards for kickbacks to get you a trip to see the judge.
Ooh, there you go. Okay.
There it is.
There'll always be a room for cash then.
There you go.
That's it. We got to say goodbye.
Folks, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and hope you have a great Sunday as well at church. So
God bless, and please buy local.
Bye, folks.
Pay cash. Tick them off. Pay cash. There you go.